Hi, Chris here. In this short video, I want to begin introducing you to some tricks you can use to supercharge your memory. Many people think they have really bad memories. However, this really isn't the case. Instead, people often just aren't using the right tools to help them remember things in the most effective way. People tend to forget things like names, numbers, words, and other such abstract information. That's because when it comes to getting information to stick, human beings are hardwired to remember visual rather than linguistic, meaning language-based, or aural, meaning sound-based information. What this means is that in order to get words, sounds, or concepts into our brains, we have to find a way to translate them into images. So let's say you're going to the store and one of the things you have to buy is apples. You could try to remember the word apples, or you could try to remember an image of an apple. Now, while remembering the image of an apple will be more effective than trying to just remember the word, an image of a regular red apple is pretty boring and won't stick in your memory very well. To make it more memorable, associate the thing you need to remember with an image you already know in as ridiculous a way as possible. You may choose to remember a ridiculous number of apples, like thousands and thousands of them, or you may choose to mess with the size of an object and think of a very, very large or a very, very small apple. Or you may alter the color of the object, such as thinking of a purple apple or a purple apple with green spots. For best results, you'll combine several of these strategies together, such as by thinking about a gigantic green-spotted purple apple. The important thing is to create as ridiculous an image as possible and to see it as clearly in your mind's eye as you can. And while it may be a bit touchy for some folks' sensibilities, violent, sexual, or vulgar images will stick in your head better. Now, I'll leave it to you to figure out how to make those associations for yourself. This is all great if we're dealing with something concrete like an apple, but what if we need to remember something we don't already have an image in our head for, like the scientific name for an apple, Malus pumila? We can still use the ridiculous image visualization, but what we're now going to do is translate the sounds of the words into images we can see in our heads. What are the first images that the sounds of Malus pumila convey to you? For me, I hear molasses and Pamela. So I'm going to create an image that uses all of those words and links them to an apple somehow. I'll vividly imagine an apple holding a jar of molasses and pouring it over Pamela Anderson. If you can add action in your mental imagery, you'll remember it better. So to practice this technique, go to Wikipedia and find the scientific names for a bunch of plants or animals you don't already know. Link the images of the animals or plants to images conveyed by the sounds of those scientific names. And don't worry if you don't get exactly the right sounds. You just want it to be close enough to remind you. This new technique, like any new skill, will take some practice. And it may feel at first like simple rote memorization is faster. But after you practice for a while, you'll begin to find that you can make associations much quicker, and you'll find that the information sticks with you much longer than if you just tried to remember the sounds and ideas by themselves. In the next video, I'll show you how to use this image linking system to help you remember things that people often say they have a hard time remembering. Numbers, like street addresses, telephone numbers, and dates. Stay tuned.